We're live. Welcome to the TCG Show, where I talk to vendors about vending and TCG insiders about getting into vending, getting into social media. And today we have Morgan from Monty and Me. Welcome.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
This is so exciting. I've been wanting to, I was waiting for the right time to get you on the show. And I feel like now is the best time. So,
It is.
no, I mean, like, because
it's
I
the
want
snake, and my birthday is Sunday, so
yes,
good
it's,
time.
I owe so much to you and the founding of the New Jersey TCG Show because of how we met and how we got together and how everything that we have been able to build is all because it all started in your house. So do you want to tell the story?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure. So, it's funny because like you said, it all started with arsenic and a candle. So I love that. So for anybody who has not heard this story, basically my dad had his third type of cancer, which was leukemia, and he was finally out of the hospital after 45 days and was on home care treatment. And who happened to be his nurse but Marilyn? And at the time, I was just getting into vending and doing Pokemon shows and all that. So I was experimenting with making different types of candles. I should have the candle. I wish I had it. I can I'll have to show it later. But so I was making Pokeball candles that my brother had 3D printed the template for me, or the mold, and I was making these Pokeball candles, and two of them happened to be sitting on like when you first walk into my parents' house, there was like a table there, and it happened to be there when Marilyn walked in one day to give my dad his arsenic treatment. And the rest is kind of history. I kind of explained to her how I've been doing these shows and it's really awesome and there's a huge community and you have to get involved and you have to be a part of it somehow in some way, and you should run your own show. And we just started planning from there.
Yeah, like the max audace of me thinking I could start my own show. Like
I
I
told you
really
you
thought,
could.
and I really I can't believe that I did, and it's grown. But yeah, Morgan and her father, they really encouraged me to start the show. It was something that my husband had started the store about a year and a half before I started the show, and I've been trying to figure out like how I could fit within the TCG community or within the show. And that's when I met Morgan, and I thought I was going to be running a craft fair where people saw like they sold cards, and Rob was like, no, it has to be a card show. We have to be really focused on having cards and building cards community. And he thought that we would have way more Magic the Gathering vendors. So I didn't know what we were going to do. So we accepted pretty much anyone that wanted to vend with us for the very first show. And it was great. I mean, like we had maybe like 100 to 200 attendees, and Morgan and Robbie and Jose and other Jose and the super dudes and Nick Lemo and like all these people who were still vending with us today. They vended the very first show, and it just completely blows my mind that they all took a chance on this brand new show in the Embassy Suites in Piscataway, New Jersey. And it was because of you and the people who believe in you, and you were encouraging them to come, and they weren't going to waste their $70 or whatever it was, and we were going to try it. But we did it. And now almost a year and a half later, we have over 140 tables, over 1,500 attendees, and it's just like it blows my mind that this idea that was a craft fair inside of your parents' house has become this huge thing. And I'm forever grateful for you and your family and the encouragement. And it's all because I say it all the time, and it's all because of Morgan and her dad that New Jersey TCG Show is even a thing. So I appreciate you. So I wanted to ask you how you got started in vending, because you do a lot of crafts and homemade goods. And was it always Pokemon stuff, or were you always very crafty? How did you get into getting into shows at all?
So I was at a I don't even know what kind of show it was. It was kind of like holistic healing, the heart of oneness, and
Uh-huh.
it was at the NJ Expo Center, which is right in Edison. And I was there walking around and I was looking at the tables and I was like, I could do that. And
Yeah.
and I came across this one table. This girl was making these amazing candles and selling them. And I was like, whoa, people are paying $15 for that? Like, and then I paid $15 for one of her candles.
Yeah.
Like my favorite candle. I won't burn it because I'm afraid I won't be able to get it again. It was like this milk and cereal and it was like Fruit Loops and stuff. And it was an awesome candle. And I was like, I could do this. And so I also before that I had always crafted. I loved crafting. It's like my therapy, and I never thought people would pay money for the things I made, so I would always gift them. And I always felt like, well, I'll gift them. And people eventually were like, why don't you sell this? This is amazing. Like, people would pay for this. I was like, no one's gonna pay for the things I make. But long and behold, that wasn't true.
Right.
So I got into my first craft show, which was a Mother's Day show in the basement of a Catholic church. And I made like a little over $100 that day. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy.
You're rich. You covered your table fee and you made a little profit.
Yes. And then I was on Instagram and I saw an advertisement for what was formerly Poke Supplies first Pokemon market. And I was like, this is awesome. I love Pokemon. I have some Pokemon stuff on my table, including the candle that you had seen. And so I contacted them right away and I was like, I would love to be at your show. Can I please get a table? And then I did my first show, made like over $700. And I was like, I'm never doing a craft fair again.
So, wow. Yeah, that's incredible. $700 in your very first like Pokemon show, I guess. Yeah. How did they have a lot of attendees at that, or how many people came?
It was, I don't know how many people came, but it was packed. And it was also hosted at I think it was like the Monmouth Mall or somewhere down in Ocean County. So it was in a mall. And it was I just remember I sold out. Like, I had nothing left on my table. I had a picture. It's on my Instagram, and it's like me at the end of the show with one of my best friends. And I look at the table and I had like one cup and like one candle left. It was crazy. I sold so much stuff and had such a wonderful experience and met some really awesome people who I'm still friends with today and so grateful for. Yeah.
So after that, you were like, never again. I'm going to only do TCG shows, Pokemon shows.
Yeah.
So how did your crafts develop more into Pokemon themed? So you started with candles, and how did you know what products that were going to sell?
So I am one of those like people that I'm like, oh, I really like that. I'm going to try to make it. Or I see something in the store, I'm like, I can make that. So I was pretty much just making whatever kind of avenue I felt moved to start making things. And what sold, I kept mass producing, and what didn't, I was like, okay, that doesn't work. So sell out. Once that sells out, like, that'll be done. I do everything in small batch and limited release. So a lot of times if you see something, it might not be there the next time you see me at a show. And I also only do in-person sales, which I know eventually I'll have to do online sales, but I hate shipping. So I try to only do in-person sales when I can.
How do you keep your customers keep coming back to you?
So I hold myself to the standard of every single show I have something new that I'm making, or a new design, or some sort of newness to it, so that every time somebody comes to my table, they see something fresh and new. I like to do seasonal stuff around Christmas time and Halloween. Last year I did Easter baskets, so I might do those again for this upcoming Easter. Valentine's Day, I had some Valentine's stuff that sold out, so I was really happy about that at the last show, the last TCG show. Yeah, so everything is
show.
Yeah, it is the biggest show in New Jersey. I like to remind everybody of that. TCG, largest show in New Jersey.
It's wild.
Mm-hmm.
What so where have you gone? What shows have you done other than the New Jersey based shows?
So outside of New Jersey, I have only done New York shows. So I've done some in nope, not Manhattan. Was it Manhattan? I don't know. I don't drive in the city. I always get a wonderful friend to drive me in with them, a fellow vendor, usually Jose or Robbie. So I think I've been in Queens and Long Island outside of New Jersey.
What would you tell someone who wants to get started in vending, or starting with crafting, or transitioning from crafting into more Pokemon or TCG show type events?
Do it. Just go for it. Like, there's nothing, even if it doesn't work out, the worst that happens is like, I don't know, it doesn't work out, but there's a lesson to be learned. Nothing's ever a loss. There's always something to gain, whether it's a social networking, or you learn something new, or you acquired a new card or a new contact or something. There's always something to be gained. And it's funny because even on shows when I don't do so well, I'm always like, yeah, but today I met somebody who could teach me this, or I met somebody who ended up referring me to somebody in California who then is buying my product and I'm shipping it out there. So it's never a loss, even if you're not monetarily gaining that day as much as you'd like. There's always some sort of positive that can come out of anything. So definitely just go for it. If you're scared, talk to other vendors. I was, I kind of did it just on my own, and it was super scary, and I had no confidence and didn't believe anybody would actually buy my things, but I was like, screw it. I got to at least try and see how it goes. And it has literally just been like skyrocketing off. And I'm so lucky and fortunate to be in this position that I'm in.
I didn't realize that you didn't vend with someone for your very first like Pokemon show. Yeah. I thought that you went with friends and
literally
you kind of just tagged along, but you went by yourself. That's so brave.
Yeah, I had no friends, no support, like not no support. My family and friends have always been super supportive, but like physically, I literally went by myself in my 3 little wooden crates and my little hand trestle and showed up and did the thing, and it was a huge hit.
It's awesome because I think that if I going to a TCG show or any of these shows, it's so intimidating. It's especially if you're brand new, especially if you've never done one before or been to one before. And you were brave and you set yourself up and you did really well. I mean, I'm glad that you did so well, because if you didn't, then we wouldn't be here today. It's insane. Yeah. And the support that you gained from being there. And who were the first people that you met when you started?
So probably my first and favorite person I have met was Robbie Rocket. So he was like kind of the first person. So it wasn't even like he just kind of like stopped by my table and was like, "Oh, hi, you're new. What's up?" And then it was so busy. It was so busy that we couldn't even talk. But then the next show was in Staten Island, and it was like, it rained, it poured. I was alone again. So I had gone to this show in New York City. I forgot about that one. Yeah, the Staten Island show. But because it was kind of like rained out, essentially, I got to talk to a lot of people. Like I got to meet Robbie more kind of on a more personal level. I got to meet I forget his name, but he's used to go by Zardy. He's wild. He's wild. He has the game that he's
some wild guy. Yeah, that could be anyone, Morgan.
No. I'm forgetting his name right now. I feel so bad, but he's awesome.
Chat, help us out.
Okay, he refers to himself as the Yellow Jonah Hill.
Okay.
And
I don't know if I've met him.
He usually is only in New York. Yeah, I've told him to come to your show, but I don't know if he'll make it there. So, yeah. But, so I met him. I met Chris Lopan, who's a really good friend of mine now. I'm trying to remember who else was there. I think Avi was there, even though like we didn't actually talk, but it was just like people who I remember from being at these like long time ago shows where nobody was there because we were just, it was downpouring literally. But it ended up being great. Like I said, I gained so much from that show. I learned a lot. I met a lot of people. Neil, who is again, he's a frequent customer in Long Island and in the New York shows, but he doesn't really come to New Jersey so much. But he's another great friend that I've stayed in touch with over the years on social media.
That's awesome. I mean, like, I just like hear about the connections. That was something that I didn't expect when starting the shows or even going to the shows, just that people remember you and people they like, oh, you like Chansey, or oh, you like Jigglypuff, or oh, you like Matrix.
She's
you like Arbok. So like these are people you could be talking about a Pokemon, and the next time you see them, they're like, oh, I brought this card for you, or oh, I was thinking about you. And I'm just like, this is nuts, because it's just like something that you don't necessarily think that someone's paying attention, or but it's a connection that you're making with people.
Yeah, so, I've gotten a lot of snake type Pokemon cards.
Yeah. So who do you have behind you? Show off your friend.
Matrix. This is Matrix. She's actually, it's so hard to see. Wait, can you zoom me in?
Let me see. Oh, there we go. Oh my God, he's here.
Here, she's on her Pokeball hide. She's just hanging out and just seeing what's going on. She's like, hey, you never sit in front of me. What's going on? I'm usually out there with you. What's going on? But I think it'd be too much to have her out while I'm doing the podcast. I can take her out if you want, but.
Yeah, well, maybe later. So I see you have a lot of sealed product behind you. Is it just your PC, or do you sell any cards?
I don't. So I'm one of the few vendors who sells absolutely zero TCG product. Maybe that will change one day, but as of right now, it's all just handmade stuff that I make, or, things that I find online that I think, I buy from my distributor, and things that I think that my customers would think is cute and they might like it. And usually that's the case. So,
and you've gotten into designing pins?
I have. I just designed the most recent Arbok one for the NJTCG show. And I'm working on some other pin designs. I also started using those pin designs and making them into 3D printed keychains. My brother does all my 3D prints, including the 3D printed, hi Matrix, including the 3D printed snake hide behind me, the Pokeball that Matrix is not using right now, but yeah.
What's your best-selling item?
Ooh, best-selling item. Pins are always super hot. I'll be bringing those with me to the LA Collecticon at the end.
What? You're going to LA?
I'm going to LA, yeah.
What? That's crazy.
Yes, and I hope to also go to Chicago.
So you did go to New Jersey Collecticon last year. Did you do any other Collecticons?
Not yet. That was my first one. I'm planning on doing LA, hopefully Chicago, and both New Jersey. So I'm hoping to do at least 4 Collecticons this year. I would try to go to Atlanta next week, but I'm going to San Francisco for my birthday instead.
Oh, that's nice. So tell me how Collecticon is different versus a local show for someone with your kind of inventory.
Collecticon was wild. So things like literally everything sold. Like at the end of Collecticon, I had like 1 box of merch left, and it was just like things that I had mass produced. Like you had mentioned before, my hot sellers. I would say like my beer mugs, the really big beer mugs, those sell really well. I had none of those at the end of your show, and none of those at the end of the Collecticon show. Also my Adidas bags, the crossbody bags sell really well. Sold out of those at Collecticon. I'm trying to think what else. My tote bags have been selling really well.
How are you going to ship everything over to? Are you just going to carry it all in suitcases, or are you planning on shipping things over to LA?
I only have like a sliver of a table, so I'm actually just going to bring a few things, probably just really small items like pins and earrings, and like my top sellers, which are like the crossbody bags, because all of those, one, are super light, super small, and I could put them in my carry-on and hopefully don't get stopped by TSA.
How are you on any social media, or are you? Do you have social media following?
So it's always humbling to go from my snake Instagram account, Monty the Python, that has over 100,000 followers, to my personal business account that has like less than 1,000. So it's always like funny to go from like my story views on one are like 5,000 people watch my story every day on Monty's account. And then they come, and then I'm like on mine, I'm like, yay, 75 people saw my story. But the difference is, it's a huge difference. So Monty's account are people worldwide. I've met friends in there from Australia and Africa and literally every country every continent and country in the world, pretty much. Whereas with my personal business account, it's all people that I've met in person. So those like are, I don't want to say it's so much more meaningful, but it's very meaningful to me, because it's actually people that I've met one-on-one and been like, oh, hey, follow me, I'll follow you back. You can see all the newest stuff that I'm making. I post it on my story. I'm really bad about keeping up with my social media on my personal business account.
Oh, I think you froze for a second.
Oh no, am I still frozen?
Oh no, you're back.
Okay. But I don't remember what I was saying. Just that usually I'm posting on my story versus on my post, but I'm always posting the things I'm making, which are usually around midnight the night before a show.
I know. Sometimes when I see your stories, I'm like, oh my God, go to bed, Morgan. I can't believe you're still crafting and painting and putting together little Pokeballs or keychains. I'm just like, oh my God, girlfriend. Like it's a lot.
Stop the grind. You you gotta stay on it. That's also the cost of like the drive for me to always have something new on my table. And it's like, I don't ever have time. So when do I have time? Like, midnight the night before a show, right. That's when I have time. So sometimes that's when I'm cranking the most product out. And when I'm like in the zone, there's no distractions. I'm just completely focused. And in like 2 to 3 hours, I can produce stuff that I couldn't produce in like, 2 days, 3 days, because I'm just hyper focused and like a machine.
Jen wants to know if you were at the New Jersey TCG show in October.
I've been at every one, so yes. I am usually
like, you're not allowed to leave any. See, like it's very strategic that Morgan is at the front, because Morgan is our light. She's the light. I love her. I love that she's a welcoming face and just a welcoming personality to people who are coming in to their very first show. She, like I said, it could be a very intimidating experience going to the shows, because you don't know what to expect or what the vendors are going to say or do, or what you have to trade. Like, what are they going to say? And Morgan is there greeting everyone, big smile. Hello, how are you? And her stuff is awesome. And you're just like, oh, okay. It's like, it's not a mean old ogre,
Yeah, I'm not going to yell at you. I'm not going to like yell in her face.
She's just like a smiling light right there, right in the front. Except for like the last couple shows, it's been so crowded at the front. You can't even really see her. But yeah, it's very strategic that Morgan's at the front, so she could be one of the first faces that people see as soon as they come into the show.
I love being there too.
Yeah.
It's like, hi.
How frequently are you doing shows?
So, I told myself I was only going to do 2 a month when I am teaching. So from September to June, I was only going to do 2 a month. I lied to myself and others, and I've been doing like 3 a month. And then in the summer, I do 3 to 4 a month. I do like every weekend pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm trying to like limit it. I specifically do NJTCG, Woodbridge, and LITCG. Those are my 3 main shows that I consistently pretty much always do when I can. The LITCG show, sometimes I don't make it to because it's a little bit further. And if I have like any kind of events going on in between there, it gets really tough to make it out there. But I do love that show so much. And I will be there at, I think in March, and then again in May at the Giant Show, the Coliseum show.
Yeah, I can't wait for that Nassau Coliseum show. It's going to be insane.
I'm so excited.
Do you know how many vendors she's going to have?
Hundreds?
Hundreds. Yeah, I know.
know.
It's got to be 400. It's
I
got
don't
to
know.
be.
I'll be there. Robbie
Yeah.
Rock will be there next to me. and
I
Joel will definitely be there.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
I keep on saying that I'm gonna need a helicopter because I don't know how, like, the traffic and all the things, but I'll be there. I definitely want to go and support the show. I love Rebecca.
Yes.
I love that show. That show is amazing. It's huge.
Mhm.
So if you're near Long Island, go to the Long Island TCG show. They have a monthly marketplace, and then they also have a couple 2-day shows throughout the year. They have a huge show coming up May 3rd and 4th. I believe those are the dates. It's the first weekend in May.
Yeah. Yeah, that will be exciting.
So
you have a 2-day show coming up as well.
Yeah, April 5th
I'll
and
be there.
6th. Yeah, it's gonna be. I can't believe it again. I can't. But after this,
I told you it would be worth it, and it would be amazing, and you're gonna manifest everything that you ever wanted to.
I mean, like, I don't even know if I like. My dreams are not big enough for this.
Keep dreaming bigger.
I gotta dream bigger for this because it's incredible. The turnout that we had for the last show, it just kind of gave me the confidence to keep on going, especially for this 2-day show, because I was nervous about it. But I think that we have a lot of vendor support and we have a lot of community support, and we don't have any other shows going on that weekend in New York or New Jersey that I know of. So I think it'll be another great turnout. And plus, we've promised that we have more space within the venue, so people won't be as cramped. Mm-hmm. And it's just going to have more room to move around, more room for trades, and we're going to have the trade night on the night between Saturday and Sunday. So I think that'll be fun too for the vendors. Yeah. Everyone loves a trade night.
It's true. They love trade nights. I've never actually gone to one, but I'm excited to go to one.
You got to book your hotel. You got to stay the night. You're going to be
which one? Yours?
Yeah. So the April show.
Where is that one located? In Bridgewater?
It's Somerset.
Oh, I live like 10 minutes from there.
So do I, but I'm still staying overnight. I think it'll be fun. Right. What makes a really great show for you?
I'm all about the vibes. Yes, the money is for the mass majority the most important thing, but while I'm there to make money, I'm also there because of the amazing community. I think I'm such a huge advocate of the Pokemon community. Yeah, we have some scumbags, but every community does. And in Pokemon, we kind of weed them out, which is fun.
We just like stop returning their messages and don't make eye contact in person.
Yeah. Don't do business, scumbags. But basically, for me, it's all about the memories. Like, I just have the best time, and I'm making money while doing something that I love. And I feel that my purpose in this world is to spread love and positivity, and also education, which is what I do for my day job. But for me to make something with my hands and then be able to give it to somebody and see how happy it makes them. And I just truly, if every time they look at that item that I made and they bought for me, if they smile and feel any type of happiness every time they see it, then I feel like my life's purpose is being fulfilled.
Right. No, I totally believe that. And it's true in everything that you do, Morgan. Like you really, you put your all into it. And I don't know how you're not exhausted for the entire week after a show, because you're on the entire time. You're smiling and laughing and engaging. And everyone that comes up to your table, they walk away with something, even if they don't buy anything, they're walking away with a piece of you and just like the experience that they had with talking with you. And I that's fantastic. And I really couldn't I really couldn't like ask for that with any more than I'm like, get it out, Marilyn. It's no, I'm happy that you're my friend, but also a vendor that can make people feel that way. I mean, that's really a fantastic experience, and it has people keep on coming back. And like I say it a lot, that there's a lot of people that come into the shows that they might not be able to make connections with people in any other way, but when they walk into the show, we're all the same. You know, we're all there because we like Pokemon, because we want to make some deals, because we want to talk Pokemon with people. And everyone gets that when they come to see you. They get to see your products. They get to give you a little chit chat, look through your stickers, and you know, like time after time, I have people messaging me saying like, "Oh, I had a great time. You know, Morgan was awesome. Is Morgan going to be at the next show?" And yeah, I'm like, she better be. No, I'm like, she better be. Like,
wait, fun fact, you know, I have rescheduled trips, 2 trips, so that I'll be at the NGTCG show.
So you heard that first. Morgan is bending over backwards to serve you at the New Jersey TCG show.
Yeah, I was supposed to go to Disney in October, but we had the show, so obviously I couldn't go. And then this upcoming weekend, so I have a 3-day weekend, the weekend of the show, but I was like, but there's a show, so I need to just use my personal days for my own trip for San Francisco. So I was like, I can't miss the show. Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you. It wouldn't be the same without you, for sure. I mean, people would be looking for you. They'd be like, "Where's Morgan?" And be like, "You know what? She decided to go on vacation."
I decided to take a break. No, not on this watch. Not on NGTCG time.
Have you thought about selling any cards, or you want to sell cards?
I have some very strong advocates in my life who would like me to sell cards because they know I would make a lot of money doing it.
Oh my gosh. Well, is it because you're a great salesperson, or is it because you're a girl?
I think both. Also, it's just the fact that like I think I'm maybe one of 2 vendors who doesn't sell any cards at all. I would like to sell sealed product like the boxes, I like the ETBs, because I think they're super cute and I'm a huge fan of them. But I gotta find a plug, a Pokemon.
I know a guy.
It makes sense. I know a guy. But in order for it to make sense for me, like monetarily, I mean, I guess I could like buy Pokemon Center ones and like upcharge, but I want to keep those because those
right. Those are the good ones, right?
Those are the good ones. I want to sell those.
Gotta hang on to those promos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So maybe in the future, I have some strong advocates saying that I should have just like small binders with like $5 cards or $10 cards, and like, so maybe it's for me. I pretty much am constantly like this past weekend I quite literally, I never sit down at shows. I maybe for like a minute here or there, but it's like hardwired into me that I have to stand the whole time. It's probably because I did retail when I was younger and you had to be on your feet. So it's just kind of like, as if I'm sitting down and somebody walks up to my table, which is pretty much like 98% of the show, I don't want to be sitting and greet somebody unless I'm truly exhausted. Like I want to stand and greet somebody and hi, how are you? Welcome to my table. Welcome to the NGTCG show. Thank you for being here today. So thanks for stopping by my table. And those are, I don't know. I just feel that it all matters. And I like,
absolutely. Greeting people and making people feel welcome. That's number one.
I was going to say that would be a piece of advice for new vendors. That and wear comfortable shoes and get there early and bring water, lots of water and caffeine and trail mix. So we've been eating a lot of like trail mix and cashews. They're great. Yep. Great for sustainability.
Andy's calling you the New Jersey TCG show concierge.
Oh, yes.
I agree. You welcome to the New Jersey TCG show. Can I show you around my table?
Yes, there's always something new at my table. So a lot of times customers will come up and be like, "What do you have that's new?" And I'm like, "Wow, last night, actually a few hours ago, I just finished making these mugs." So yeah.
What's one of your favorite memories from a show?
Ooh. Oh, that's hard. I have so many wonderful ones. This is okay. I'm not going to do a too personal one. This one is
personal.
Okay, I'll give two then. I'll give two.
Okay.
So the first one that's personal was the first time at that Staten Island show when Robbie Rocket walked up to my table and was like, "You have a snake. I like turtles." And I was like, "Well then,
I like turtles."
friends. Yeah. He said, "I like turtles," and I was like, "Sold. You're gonna be my best friend." Which has changed it since then. But my other favorite one of them just that comes to mind was actually, when was it? Maybe in the last 2 months. It was at the Woodbridge show. And it was more of a card-based show. My stuff doesn't do great at card-based shows unless there's a lot of girlfriends who come and they like my earrings and jewelry and stuff. So it wasn't a very busy day for me. But there was this little baby. She had to be like maybe 1 year old. And her mom walked her past the table, and their family was there, and the older kids and the husband were shopping and buying cards and stuff. But this little baby, all she wanted to do was be my table. And every time her mom would pick her up and move her from my table, she would start crying and throwing a tantrum.
Oh.
So the mom had to literally stand in front of my table with this little baby for an hour so the baby wouldn't cry, because she would just look at my table and she was smiling. But as soon as she was taken away, she would start crying. And I was like, she's here for the vibes. She feels the good vibes.
Right? I mean, you have a lot of like colorful and beautiful things. I could see a little kid wanting it. And of course the crystals for the vibes.
Yes.
Are you still selling crystals?
Yeah, I mean, I keep only a few because I know the crystal industry is taken, there's crystal vendors, so I don't really carry many crystals. I pretty much just keep the starters, like the Bulbasaur, Pikachu, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur, like the little guys, because I can't part with them. They're so cute, and I love educating people about crystals because it's a huge passion of mine, other than snakes and Pokemon and teaching. So I do love to kind of educate people. So I have like these little cards that I give them with the type of crystal that it is, to try to, just shed some light and spread the good vibes and happiness.
What do you do with your inventory that doesn't sell, or do you always have like a constant rotation of your inventory?
It's pretty much a constant rotation. So whatever doesn't sell at one show will sell most likely at the next show, and if not that one, then the next one. It's more difficult for me to keep things in stock than to sell out of things.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that didn't make sense. I said the same thing twice. It's harder for me to keep it in stock than to not sell it, if that makes sense.
Yes. It's easier for you to keep things out. I'm like, wait, I glitched for a second. Now, with the boom of Pokemon right now, do you think that you've gotten busier, or do you think that people are buying more cards?
I don't know if my stuff has a correlation with the cards, but I've been doing really well in 2025, and I hope it keeps on going up and up and up.
Of course. I mean, like, they're here for the vibes. You give good vibes, and it comes all right back.
Yep.
How do you know how to price your items?
So one, I always underprice my items. I think people have constantly been like, "That's how much you're charging? Like, you need to charge more." So there's that. I think I get that humility side of me from my dad, because he did the same thing when he had his own business. He would always underprice it, and then he would, the whole story that goes with that. But there's like on Pinterest, there's different types of like formulas for people like me who craft and sell at shows or sell on Etsy. And it's usually like the cost of the materials plus the time it takes you. It's like a weird formula. I don't follow it. I suck at it.
You're like, oh, this is $5. Oh, this is $7. Like, you just how much you would pay for it, I guess.
Yeah, I guess like how much I would pay for it, how much I paid to make it, or how much I paid for it. Also a lot of price comparisons. Like sometimes I'll take a walk around a show and be like, okay, they're selling cups for 20, mine are also 20. They're selling bags for 20, 25. I sell mine for 20. And then also like Etsy, if I see stuff on Etsy, I'm like, oh, my stuff is comparable to that. And you're not paying shipping. So I'm usually charging around the same price minus shipping and taxes and all that and handling. And yeah.
Do people try to negotiate prices with you, or does people usually pay what you're asking?
I would say about 95% of the time, it's not really a negotiation unless it's like, hey, I'm buying 10 pins instead of, could we maybe do a deal? And I'm always like, yeah, of course, you're spending $100 on pins. Yeah, let's figure something out. Only a few times, only a handful of times, I've had people who are like really adamant and be like, this is how much I want to pay for this. And sometimes I'm like, no, like, I'm not accepting that. Like, then go make it yourself or go buy it from somebody else. Like, and that's usually items like, that I'm not specifically hand making. Sometimes it's like things that I'm buying from a distributor and reselling. I've never had any pushback with like my paintings or any more intricate artworks that I've done. So that's pretty cool that people are, kind of aware enough to be like, oh, this girl put in 8 hours of her time and she's charging $20 for something. So
what's your bestseller?
I think, actually I didn't bring up this one. This one's super hot and super surprising. Baby onesies.
Oh,
Future Pokemon trainer, everybody gets them for baby shower gifts. Everybody. And they're super cute. And I make them gender neutral, so it doesn't matter if it is boy, girl, or other. I have baby onesies that fit all sizes and all babies everywhere.
Do you have people asking if you take credit cards, and do you take credit cards?
Literally, at least I would say like 1 out of 10 people, maybe even 1 out of 8 people ask me if I take cards, and I need to download the Square app. Literally, so many people have been like, Morgan, what are you doing? Get the Square app. Get the Square app. And I'm like, yes, it's on my to-do list. I literally wanted to have it for this past weekend at your show, and I just like have 1,500 things on my mind always, and I'm always busy doing something. So it slipped through the cracks, but I will I'm going to have it for the next NJTCG show. I'll be ready.
We're only 2 weeks away. You got to get it together, Morgan.
2 weeks.
I know. February is now, and then 16 days. So we got to
be ready.
I cannot believe you blink and the next show is coming. Are you doing Woodbridge this weekend?
It's my birthday, so I'm giving myself
that's right.
a break. Also, I'm traveling next weekend, so I was like, I probably should pack and also book a hotel. So
you didn't book your hotel yet?
No.
You're a maniac.
It's fine. It's San Francisco. There's like a million places to stay. It'll be fine.
So now that you work full time, you have a life outside of vending, you vend, you create all of these crafts. How is there a work-life balance? How is there a balance? How do you find yourself? What do you do to kind of disconnect from Pokemon?
So when I'm not working, I'm usually working.
When I'm not working, I'm working. Okay.
Yeah, my hobbies include work and working more.
Yeah,
and when
same.
I'm not working, I'm also going to school at night to earn more money, because that's the only way to increase your pay in the education field. So I am taking.
You're in school?
I am. I'm a Cane Cougar right now.
Oh my gosh! When did you start doing that?
Last September. I'm almost done with the program. I'm almost done. It's a post-bac program. It's the only way that I can increase my pay to make more money. So I can pay my bills and maybe buy a house one day when the market crashes. We'll see.
Oh my God. Which is going to crash first, the housing market or the Pokemon?
Or my stability and being able to maintain this lifestyle. I don't know. Housing for sure. I think Pokemon's here to stay forever. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. It has only grown in the last 20 something years. I think it's bigger and better than ever. And my dad keeps reminding me, he's like, Morgan, it's generational. Like, you're selling baby onesies. That means these babies are going to grow up to be future Pokemon trainers. And I said, that's the seed I'm planting. Yes.
Yeah. If I had $1 for every person that messages me once the tickets sell out, that I have to take my kid, I would have a whole nother show, because it's every single show that people are saying that they're bringing their children, and it's people who are collectors or they played at some point and now they're bringing their kids. And yeah, like you said, it's generational. It's really fun to see the parents connecting with the kids and being able to hunt for the cards that they're looking for. Does anyone ever try to do a trade up challenge or a coin flip at your table?
Challenge. No kids. They always like come with their binder and they're like trade up challenge. I was like, I've got nothing.
You're like,
I was like, I
got a keychain. I got some pins.
Funny story. I actually have one specific card that I always have on me. I want to get it, but it's over there. It is a shiny psychic energy card. And at your first show at the NJTCG show in 2023, Robbie gave my mom a pack of cards because my parents came, my brother, my whole family came out to support her. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
And my mom opened the pack of cards and she's like, I got a shiny one. And it was a psychic energy one. And she like doesn't know what to do or have any desire to keep Pokemon cards. So I kept it with me and I put it out on every show, like behind my like stand. So it's been with me at literally every single show since then. And I always just, I don't know, I feel like it brings me good luck.
Yeah. I mean, it's been working really well for you.
It has been. Yeah. It's all thanks to the card, the special card.
Yeah. You really should start doing the Pokemon tarot cards. I think that you would do well.
That is a really good idea.
Just add it to the list of the things that you should be doing.
It's funny. I'm like, my day job gets in the way of all of the million things I want to do. I don't have time to work. I've got other work to do.
Right.
But I do love my job as a teacher. I love my students to death. They're so sweet. They literally, one kid today said the sweetest thing to me. And I was just like, oh my God, that was so sweet. And it's middle school, so it's shocking when they're really sweet. Yeah. But
do the kids ever come to see you at the shows?
I have had some students come because I also run the Pokemon club at my school. Yeah, because I was like doing these shows and I was like, I want a space for students to come where they can just be themselves and they can bring their cards and it's a friendly, safe environment. And I know a little bit of I know probably more than the average person on how to price out cards and to look at the value. And I was teaching the kids like, okay, if on TCG Player it says that this card is worth $5, so you would have to trade them for something of equal or two cards that would be of equal value. And we were kind of just had this little circuit going. And I play the Indigo League because that's my favorite Pokemon show on the Promethean board. Best flat screen TV. It's huge. It's used for educational purposes, but after hours it's a show. Pokemon cartoon. Disclaimer, yeah. And
so when you were a kid, were you into collecting cards or were you more in the TV show? What were you doing?
So I love Pokemon. I'm a 90s baby, so Pokemon was coming out right at the kind of towards the end of the 90s. I like the cards. I always kept the shiny ones. Who knows where they are now? Obviously, everybody knows the story.
Get Jill on it. Jill, where are the cards?
She doesn't know where the cards are. She's like, they're in the attic. They're not in the attic. I do have 2 binders, but I think most of them are my brother's. I always kept like the evolutions and like Ponyta and Rapidash because I love horses as a kid. So
a horse girl. Okay.
I was as a child. I used to take riding lessons and everything.
Oh.
Yeah, fun fact.
See, we learn more and more about people on the podcast.
Yes, so fun. But yeah, so I was more into the Game Boy games and then into like the Nintendo 64 Pokemon game, and I loved the show. I had all the merch. I had backpacks and t-shirts and all the fun little things, and my brother was more of like the card person who he kept binders of cards and he had some really great cards. And again, Jill, I don't know what you
Jill, if you're watching this, we need the cards. Where are the cards?
I didn't know how to watch this. Yeah. They don't understand. They're downstairs watching TV. They're happy on the couch.
Yeah. I mean, like he's watching softball or some kind of murder shows or
he's currently binge watching Dexter because what goes well with retirement is murder shows, obviously.
Right? I mean, murder shows go well with any day, any time. You just got to put them on. Especially they're great to fall asleep to and wake up to.
Yeah. I walked in the other day and they were watching a documentary about why Americans love murder mystery, like murder documentaries and shows and serial killers. And I was like, you guys are watching a show about watching murder shows. You're crazy. Like, you both need to do more work for me.
It's oh, your back is tired. Your finger's gonna be tired now, Grandpa.
Yeah, I'm like, there's more Pokeballs to glue together, Dad. Get to work. They assemble keychains. My mom does my shipment sometimes when I'm at work, and I'm like, I need to get this shipment out, and she does. I'm so lucky that my parents are so supportive. They literally support me in anything I do.
That's awesome. That's so important to have your family support, especially when you're like starting your own business, right? Because it really takes a village to get yourself together, and especially you have so much going on outside of vending, and you have your schoolwork and relationships and your full-time job. It's really great that you have such a supportive family. Mm-hmm. Who do you look up to in the vending community?
In the vending community, honestly, I look up to Ravi. He's amazing. He has, like, I just love watching him work, and it's so great that I've been literally side by side with him for almost 2 years now. And I've always just kind of thought, I love the way he works with customers, and he also is all about the great vibes, and people look for him and they come to him. They're like, I remember you from the first time I ever came to a show, and I bought a card from you. And I also bought a card from him a long, long time ago. Even though he sold.
Did he give you a discount?
I think so. I think it's the only card I've actually ever purchased from him. I've gotten a lot of cards that he helps build my personal PC collection. Oh, I want to show you one of my favorite ones. He gave me this for Christmas, and it's the Blastoise Piplup.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, Robbie's a good egg. He's a good guy.
So I've always looked up to him. I also really look up to Shoal because she always like talks about how she first started with quite literally like $1 cards, and now she's doing amazing things. She's traveling the country selling cards at shows at collecticons across the US. And then of course, how could I forget Karen the Plushie Queen? I still have her business card from the first time I met her, because I was just amazed that I was like, oh my God, this girl or this woman she's an OT. At the time she was still working in the schools, and she was running a business full time, and she was just like, I was watching her excel and build and grow and grow and grow. And she too is like, now she's just full-time plushie queen of the world, because New York City is the biggest thing ever. So what's
right? Yeah, she's the international plushie queen right now.
Yes, she is the plushie queen of the world, maybe the universe, not sure. Yeah. But she is such a huge inspiration. Every time I'm like, I don't know how much longer I can stay a teacher for. I'm like, Karen did it, and so can I. So there's always that kind of like inspiration that she's literally a one-woman company, and it's so inspiring, and I think she's so strong and so amazing, and I'm so lucky to be her friend. Like, that's how I feel.
Yeah, she's really driven, and it's amazing to see someone go from vending as a side hustle to go and do this as your full-time job, and be able to do it in the way that she does it, and traveling to Japan and being able to sell at shows when she wants to, and when she wants to take a break, she can, and be able to keep her online sales just rolling. It's really a huge inspiration.
Yeah, it's amazing. And it's like she just keeps growing and growing and growing, getting bigger. Like, I feel like every time I see her, she's another person that holds herself to that really high standard of like, every show I'm going to have something new. And she does. Right. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're amazing.
Especially because she's so many different products and setup. So how long does your setup usually take?
It depends how much time I have to set up. If I get there late, I can do it in an hour. I don't like to do that, so I try to get there an hour and a half before the show, and usually like it takes me the full hour and a half to set everything up and just kind of like make my fine tuning. I have my little label maker where I label the prices of everything, because personally, I hate when I walk up to a table and I'm like, how much is anything? Like, I don't like it.
Right.
I'm not a very, even though I've become more introverted, I'm naturally I've become more extroverted. I'm naturally an introvert, so I don't like interacting and like asking people, how much is this? And
yeah. You just
so,
want it to be out there so people don't have to ask you. So
yeah,
I mean, like it works both ways. Like you don't have to be like, oh yeah, it's this, and they could be disappointed, or they could see it and then they know kind of where you're working, what you're working with, and saying like, oh yeah, I value this at $2 and it's like $25 or something like that. Like it gives them
right.
a gauge. So that's really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
What where do you see yourself in the future? Do you think that you'd be able to transition this as a full-time job?
I don't know. Like right now, honestly, I'm making in a day what I make in a week at work. So benefits are pretty much keeping me at work. So and also it's just kind of like the fear of like, what if I make that jump, that transition of being a full-time teacher and doing this on a side job like my small business? What if I do that and then COVID happens again or something, and the world shuts down, or there's no job security? Or what if this is just like a trend right now, which I don't think it is, but what if it is and it starts to decrease? What if people stop buying my stuff for whatever reason? So I would, in theory, love to do this full time, but I'm not sure when or how that would happen.
What makes you think that you couldn't excel at anything you ever did?
Ooh, it's the negative self-talk. That's what it is. It's the anti-Morgan sitting on my shoulder like, you can't do that, and I'm like, oh, maybe I can.
Like I mean, like you were an all-star athlete, you're well educated, you took the leap and did this all by yourself without anyone holding your hand, and you've been extremely successful. So what makes you think that you wouldn't continue to be extremely successful? And if all hell broke loose and people stopped buying your stuff, what makes you think that you couldn't do something else?
I could always go back to teaching because they're so desperate for teachers. They've waived all the testing. They don't even psychologically test. There's no like nothing. They are so desperate for teachers that I think they would take me back if they had to.
Right. They were like, oh, you've been a teacher for 10. I almost said a nurse. You've been a nurse? Because everything I say to you, I'm saying to myself. It's just like I get it. I mean, especially when health insurance is a thing, and and you know from firsthand experience that if you don't have health insurance, how expensive things can happen,
or you die,
can change, or it could be very, very bad if you don't have health insurance or any like security. Although, I mean, like, are jobs ever very secure? I mean, who knows?
Once you're tenured teacher, you're pretty secure. But I feel like that's like one of the very few jobs that you actually have security.
Right.
And the pay is terrible. Like I can't survive off of a teacher income, and I'm 9 years in with a master's degree, and I can't survive on my own in New Jersey. That's why I have a business as well. And
right.
And I'm going to school to increase my pay. I literally am constantly busy.
Yeah, that's really too bad that you don't have a living wage, like working and educating children. But we're getting off topic. Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No, it's just it's true though. I mean, like it's too bad that you have to have a side hustle in order to survive.
Yeah.
But
it ultimately led me to this, which has been literally one of the greatest things in my life. And
I'm
so blessed to be a part of the community and to have these awesome friends who I've met through vending, and have like this core group of vendors that we kind of just like travel around now, and we're always together doing shows, making a lot of money, which is super fun. But also, like I said, for me, it's about like getting to see the things I make and getting to see how they positively impact people, and how that smile hopefully lasts them as long as the product does, and maybe beyond. Or if they're gifting it to somebody, there's just that's a reward that's worth more than any amount of money to me.
Yeah, I mean, like you're giving them a piece of you, and they're
Yeah,
they're able to walk away from your table and have a piece of you and a memory and an interaction, and that's amazing.
yeah, yeah.
So
That
what a gift you're able to give people, and they're paying you for it.
I
I
know,
think
right? And they're paying for it. I never thought people would pay for the things I make, but look at me now.
they're good. They're good things.
I know, but again, it's the negative anti-Morgan on the shoulder that's like, nobody's going to pay for that. What, you made that? Who cares? And it's like, oh.
They all care.
I know so many people care, and it's amazing. And it's, I don't know, it just keeps me going. It really does.
So where can we find you? What's the next show? What's your Instagram? What TikTok? Where are you?
Is TikTok still a thing? Is it a thing? I thought it got banned.
It's back. It's back.
Oh, TikTok's back. Okay. I never invested.
But not if you download. If you deleted the app once it went away, then you can't get it again. But if you still have it, it's still there.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
So no, well, either way, I am on TikTok, but it's just my snake account. You can catch me on my Instagram. That is literally the best way to contact me. At Monty and Me LLC. My name is not Mel. I realized after I made my business cards and like my Instagram handle, everybody thinks it's Monty and Mel. And I was like, no, that's me. It's
Mel.
just me. Yeah. Nope. Monty and Me LLC. On Instagram, or Monty the Python, which is easier to remember, and he's super popular. I'm not, but people love Monty and Matrix. And oh, she's right behind me over here.
Yeah, she's waving. It's so funny.
Yeah, she's just been chilling. She's interested in what's going on with the lights in front of her.
We got a lot of love in the chat from Christina and Meg.
Where is this chat? I can't find the chat. Can I see the chat? Am I a part of the chat? Oh, there's the chat. Oh my God. There's the chat. Sorry. I've never done a live anything ever. This is super exciting.
Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, everyone in the chat. This is so fun.
It's so funny because you're like, it's the end, and you're like, oh, hello.
I know. I'm sorry. I should have done this sooner. I would love to do this again one day in the future when you're after you.
No, I definitely want to have people that I had on the very beginning back on, so we can just kind of like reflect on how things have changed and how this has developed. But it's been awesome, and I am very grateful to have known you and for your encouragement and everything that you've done for the New Jersey TCG Show and the TCG Show, and however or wherever this is going. And like, it's really,
where's it going? No one knows. Only up from here.
Hopefully,
bigger and possibly in Lehigh Valley.
Yeah,
maybe.
We're
Pocono Mountains. That would be like literally right there for me. Just saying.
We're doing it for Morgan. Morgan's the reason. I mean, really. I mean, like you.
We're doing it for
such a you've had. It's because of you. I mean, like you're one of the driving forces behind the show, and I'm forever grateful. I'm like you'll always have a spot in the front, just because. I owe it all. I owe it all to the relationship that I had with you and your family. I mean, like really, it's
so crazy
that encouragement.
Yeah, when I think back to like, we literally were like just sitting on my couch and we were like, this could work. We can make this work. And we were doing the schematics of the tables with my dad, and we're like, Phil, how does this give us the most optimal layout given these dimensions? What can we do here? Yeah,
it's wild to see how it's changed and gotten bigger and better. And I'd love for them to come back to see the next show or wherever.
They're doing nothing. Let's be real. They'll come. I'll give them the free tickets that you gave me. I'll be like, just come to the show. You need to. They're always like, tell Marilyn we said hi. I said, we are 15 minutes from the show. You can go tell her yourself.
Oh my God. Let them be retired. They're allowed to relax. It's a lot. I mean, going to this last show, I think that would have been like system overload. It was system overload for me, and I was in charge. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I felt bad for people because like it was
crazy.
It was a little smelly. It was a lot of crowded. There was a lot going on.
The smells were great by me. If you want good smells, you could come to my table anytime. Good smells.
Free sniffs. You get free sniffs. Go and hang out. Table 90.
We're back to the sniffs again, Marilyn.
Free sniffs. You get a sticker and a free sniff. Go and hang out with Morgan.
Yes. You can even buy me a shirt.
Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you again. Thank you for everything. Thank you for encouraging me to start the show, and thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
And we look forward to many, many more shows with you.
Yes, I'm so excited. I can't wait to see all that we are still yet to accomplish and achieve, and the sky is the limit. Even beyond that, let's have a show on the moon. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
We might. Who knows?
No gravity.
Cards flying everywhere.
Right? Can you imagine?
I don't have cards that I sell. So.
All right, Morgan. Thank you again. And that's the TCG show. We'll see you tomorrow with Poketaz.
See you guys.
All right. Bye.
Bye.